Hey folks, I thought I'd just do a short video on how I've used Kydex material and custom made some stuff for my own personal concealed carry. What you're looking at here, this is my preferred way of carrying when I'm wearing shirts that I don't have to tuck in. I can use my double wide 17 round magazine. This is a 9mm SRC SR9C Ruger. So it's got the little bit shorter barrel, but I got the full 17 round magazine, so I've got plenty of ammo. This fits right in the small of my back. I've got a big wide curve in the small of my back, so this just fits so comfortable in there and doesn't print on my shirt at all unless I'm bending all the way over. That's the only time you can see that gun. Now, I know I've read people reviewing small of back carry saying, "Oh, that's a no-no. You'll break your back." All this kind of stuff. All I can say, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but I think a lot of it depends on your body type. I cannot wear on the side, on the appendix, at the 6 o'clock position. It either prints so obviously, or it's very uncomfortable. And in either event, I don't want to carry that way. In the small of my back, it's very comfortable. That fits the curve of my back right through there. I don't even have to take it out of the holster when I'm sitting in the car. I can sit down in the car with the back cushion pressing against that, and it's very comfortable. I keep another gun in my console area anyway, so I don't need to be able to pull this gun when I'm driving. But because it's so comfortable right there where it's setting, I don't have to be taking it in and out when I get out of the car. So I've always got this on me. When I'm in the car, I've got another gun that's easy access. So that's what I've chose to do. Now, this is a homemade Kydex holster. The reason I'm showing this is because I haven't seen a commercial holster available that's configured like this. So in a little bit, I'll show you closer up how I make that. It's very easy to make and cheap to make. Now, when I'm wearing tuck-in shirt, that's my preferred method most of the time, because I usually wear polo shirts, t-shirts, that kind of stuff. So this is how I'm normally carrying. I got 18 rounds chambered up, and so I've got plenty of ammo. Full-size gun, nice, easy to hold. This has got a laser and a light on it and everything. When I'm wearing tuck-in shirts, this is my preferred method. The shirt, this is a tank top shirt called Undertech Men's Concealment Tank Top, and it's made out of Coolux material. And this is what I prefer when I have to tuck my shirts in. It comes with a strap that goes around here. I took that off because you simply don't need it to retain that gun in there. So other than that, I cut the strap off, and I made a little Kydex insert. If you'll see, it's got tabs here that you can slip down through there, but then it catches on the bottom, so the Kydex part won't pull out when you have to draw your gun. The reason I put that on there is because I tried this out. It's summertime in Texas. I tried this out without that Kydex piece in there, and the gun gets your perspiration on it. So I just added in that little Kydex piece. It's got a slight bend there on the end. I don't know if you can see it, to fit the curve of the body. And now that basically serves as a sweat shield, and it's almost no thickness, so it doesn't take up any bulk in your shirt. So that's my preferred method. This is a Ruger LC9S. It's a striker model. And by the way, if anyone's tried the standard LC9s and didn't like it because of the trigger pull on the C model, the LC9, or on the S model, LC9S for striker file model, man, they've improved that trigger. The trigger's so much smoother. It's got a quicker reset. That's a good firing pistol. So I'd highly recommend you try it out if you've only tried out the standard version, because this S version of the LC9 is awesome. I'm choosing to carry it with a 9-round magazine in there. Once again, I don't like using the shorter magazines and that kind of stuff because I want the maximum amount of ammunition I can have for the size of the pistol I'm using. So that works great. This doesn't print in my shirt at all. The reason I chose to carry this one instead of the SR9C is because this SR9C being thicker and a little bit longer handle, It's just not as comfortable for me and underneath the arm carry. So this will be on the left hand side of my body, and I draw with my right hand like so. Out, I leave the top 2 buttons of my button-up shirt unbuttoned, and I can reach right in there and pull that out very quickly, very easily. So that works good for me. So in the event, let me get a little bit closer up details on how I make this customized Kydex stuff. Just a second. Okay, folks, to give you a little bit better idea how I made these custom conceal holders, to give you a little bit of a close-up. Now what's unique about this is I have this great big Viridian green laser light combo. It's a laser and a light. As you can see, it's a lot wider than like the finger guard area and even the handle. So every commercial holster I tried did not have the right retention on pulling this out because it always hang up too much on that big laser light combo. That's the reason I decided I was going to make my own damn holsters. The way I make this, I can form this exactly how I want it. And as you can see on this one, this part here where the laser slides down in there stays wide, that whole channel. So in other words, it clamps down hard on the laser and the pistol rail here, but then this stays open so that it doesn't catch on that big laser light as you're pulling out. This part here on the barrel is pretty firm fit. The simplicity to this is I put a little screw in here with a little hard firm piece of foam there. It's almost like rubber. It's like a semi-hard rubber. So that once you get this formed, you can adjust that screw, put Loctite on the screw. I cut it off exactly even. It's real cheap to do. But you get exactly the right tension you want to get the proper draw on this pistol. As you can see, even out of the pants, that's plenty good to go stay in there. Keep in mind, since this is taco, when it's in your pants, you slightly squeeze a little bit more, so it gives it even a little bit more retention, but yet it still snaps right out of there. You can reholster it without looking. It goes right back in. And the way I accomplish that is I bend up the end here just a little bit on the outside so that it's very easy to holster back in there even with it in place. Keep in mind this is the small of my back. It goes right back here, but very easy to reholster. Holds good. It's got the sweat shield in the main area of the gun. This part doesn't even really touch me. So let's see. Okay. The only other thing here is there's a belt clip. As you can see, you just bend this is just bent Kydex. You just heat it up, bend it over, form the belt loop. Plenty strong. It's got spring tension on there, so you slide that down over your belt and it snaps right in on your belt. Pull up a little bit, make sure it's engaged. That ain't going nowhere. That is not going anywhere. So the reason I made it is because I can exactly form this thing exactly how I want it, get it to fit exactly perfect, draw perfect. I can make it at any angle that I want. Just a second. I'm going to finish up here in a minute. Sorry about that. My dogs were yapping at me to get back in. But in any event, I could not find a commercial holster that was like this. It's also unconventional the way I carry this in the small of my back. And I understand so many people are dead set against that. For my body type, I got a big curvature in my back. This fits very comfortably back in there. Don't have to take it out when I'm sitting in my car or anything else. I can sit down with it. I can move around with it. It's all very comfortable. I know the hardcore people, oh, you're going to break your back if you fall back on it. Bullshit. The other places I try to carry this, in my appendix, on the side, on the 6 o'clock, it doesn't fit my body type. It prints bad. It's uncomfortable. This doesn't print at all in my back. It's comfortable as hell. I'll take my chances that I could ever fall on something directly on this and break my back. Okay? I'll just take my chance. This is my preferred way to carry. And I had to make my own holster because there was just nothing on the market that would fit this Viridian laser and light, the gun, and have the exact angle and orientation I wanted on my back, the whole 9 yards. So that's the reason I made it. Now, let me give you a little bit of an idea how this stuff's made. The material I use, let me get this adjusted, is .060 Kydex. That's the thickness I use. I get this stuff from www.knifekits.com. Knife Kits spelled KNIFEKITS.com. It's $360 per 12 by 12 sheet. I ordered, for my first order, I ordered 4 sheets of 12 by 24. 12 by 24 is $7.20 each. So this material is cheap as can be. The only other thing you need is a halfway decent heat gun. This is 23 bucks at Home Depot. I think it's 1200 watt heat gun. 22 bucks. The only other item you need's a little cheap piece or cheap pair of shears. This I think this was 13 bucks. This cuts this material just perfect. As you can see, I didn't do any fine finishing on that. This is just a raw cut. This is what I use in my concealed carry tank top that goes down in here for a sweat shield. Remember that tank top? The only thing special about this is these little notches that slide down in the elastic and catch on the bottom of that elastic, so that when you draw your weapon, the gun or the Kydex doesn't come out, but it still provides you the sweat shield from your gun. That was the only problem with that shirt. I love them concealment shirts, man. They hold the gun perfect. It's easy to get in through your buttons here, just like this, and I can pull that gun directly out, and it's comfortable. You can't even tell the damn gun's there. The only problem was, if you got sweaty, you get sweat on your gun, and you don't want to do that because you'll ruin the finish on your gun eventually. So this little piece of Kydex cures that. The only thing I did, other than that notch, the only thing I did was just curve this a little bit for the body. So it's just slightly curved to fit my body curvature right where it sets in that elastic. Alright, now, to work with this Kydex, I've seen all kinds of videos, and on all of them I've seen, they put the sheets of Kydex in the oven, heat it up, and then take the whole sheet out and then wrap it around there, and they use these big cushion modes that you got to clamp down and everything else. Well, that didn't work for me. I tried it, and particularly on my SRC or SR9C with this Viridian laser light. If you form the Kydex around this, it's way too tight in this trigger area and everything else. That light assembly will not allow you a good pull, a good draw. It's too tight, and there's several areas that it does that on. So what I ended up doing, and actually I'll just show you, I've got to make I'm going to do a smaller back holster for my LC9S. I've got to add, I'm going to be adding a green Laser Max laser to this, so I can't make the holster till I get that on there so I can get the proper shape. But what you do is you just use a piece of paper and cut out your outline that you want and everything on the piece of paper, where the gun's going to set. You know, I say smooth side here. This Kydex material has a shiny smooth side, and it has a little bit of a grainy textured side. You want the smooth side on the inside that the gun's going to be holstering in and out of. You want the textured on the outside. So I write smooth side here to make sure you get it on the right side, or else you get a wasted piece of Kydex. And instead of heating it up in the oven, what I'll do is, once you get the paper marked out how you want it, then I will just take a heat gun, heat it up right there where that middle bin's going to be, like so. I don't know why I'm actually turning on the heat gun. I'm not doing it. And then just do it slow. Don't do it till that plastic gets shiny. You'll be able to tell when it's getting nice and soft. It'll reach a magical point where it'll just bend any way you want it. So heat it up till you get that point. Put the gun back on there, and then just bend it over. Hold it until that part cools. Until you get this bend part cooled. Then once that's cooled, it'll stay in place. Now, I take the gun out, heat up this whole area here with the heat gun, and once again, take your time till it gets flexible. Then you slide your gun back down in there. Now I do the fine tuning of my bends. Just using your fingers, and I use a pair of thin pair of gloves. But you can form that plastic exactly how you want it to lay on there. Just precisely exactly how you want it to lay on there. Okay, once I do that, now I'm going to take the heat gun, heat up this end here so I can make my little belt loop. I just use a little piece of rod, put it in there, fold that parallel with wherever your bend is going to be, like so, to make the part that's going to catch your belt loop. Once again, heat it up, bend it, hold it till it cools a little bit. When you release it, it stays exactly put. And then the last part's going to be heat up right there where your bend needs to be there. Once you get it heated up, push this down. Make sure it's pushed down firmly against there and even curved in over on this side here. So when it cools, that's going to give you the tension that you have on this thing. See how that's nice and tension? So that's what you want to do. You're going to put that curve in there, hold it down there firm against there, wait till it completely cools. Once it does, it stays right in place, and then you're going to have some retention there. If you want to, you can turn this over, heat up this side, do a little bit of form fitting too. On my first one, I really didn't do that. I just had it sitting down on a piece of foam, and just the weight of the gun down in there was enough on the back because I wanted to keep the back of it fairly smooth. The retention part's all taking place on the front side. This gun has no ridges, and it's not going to have a big fat laser. The laser's a small laser that goes on the end here. So probably just form fitting on this side is probably all that's going to be necessary. And then you got your handle or your belt clip bent over. The only other thing that remains to be done once you get it formed, you pull this out, do your fine trimming using your shears to get exactly where you want it. Drill your hole in here, put your piece of hard rubber in between there, tighten that down until you get the perfect retention that you want. And keep in mind, you need to test it with it in your belt or inside your waistband too, because you have a little bit of additional pressure pushing down against that Kydex that'll make it just a little bit tighter draw when it's in your waistband. But here again, you just adjust this little screw until you get the perfect draw. If you need, I flare up here on this side. I heat it up and flare this up so it makes it easier to reholster. So you're not going to catch on the edge of it, just a little bit of a flare. You can see that here. Well, maybe you can. Yeah, just a little bit of a flare on this edge, so that widens up right there. It makes it easy to reholster, as you can see. Okay. And a side note, another benefit, I'm done pointing down at my paper. This Kydex material is great for a bunch of things. This is my Galaxy S5. As you can see, I made me a little belt clip there. Once again, spring loaded. That slides right up over your belt, clips in on the bottom side. It's just bent up on each end and at the bottom. A little bit bowed in the center so it doesn't hit, so the screen doesn't touch the center of it. And this baby just slides right down in there. It ain't going to go nowhere. Yet you just go like that and pull it out. So that's another side benefit of getting the heat gun, cutters, and this Kydex material, because you can make damn near anything you want. I'm going to make me a few magazine clip holders, I think, for inside the pants, or maybe even on my inside shirt of the vest, just to make sure it clips in a little bit and stays in place on my concealment tank top. So I've already been thinking a whole bunch of different things I'm going to use this Kydex material for. And in my opinion, you don't need to do it in the oven and make a big old foam press and all that, because you can shape anything exactly where you want it, how you want it, by hand. Just heating up one little section at a time and molding it exactly how you want it. And I think it's more precise that way. You don't have it going down in the recesses you don't want it to, and it does go down in the recesses you do want it to, by just doing it with a heat gun and by hand. And I hadn't seen any more videos showing this procedure or the kind of holsters I'm making, so I figured I'd post it and maybe it'll be helpful to somebody. Let me know what you think.